Have you ever thought of an old friend, someone you haven't spoken to in 10 years, and then your phone lights up? And it's them? These are synchronicities. Too perfect, too personal to be just coincidences. Before we get to the exciting parts, we must deal with the official story. First of all, skeptics will refer to the law of truly large numbers. This basically says that in a world where more than 8 billion people live, experiencing trillions of moments, strange things are not just likely, they are statistically inevitable. That 1 in a million case happens dozens of times every minute somewhere on the planet. It's a convenient way to dismiss even the most astonishing stories as merely lucky throws of the cosmic dice. Then they'll say your brain is essentially a faulty machine, prone to errors like apophenia, the tendency to see patterns in random noise. And this is amplified by confirmation bias when you conveniently remember that one time you thought of a friend and they called, but forget the other 500 times when they didn't. They'll say you only mention the hits and leave out the misses. But does that really explain the feeling? These scientific explanations are clear, but for those who have already experienced a true synchronicity, they feel empty. They do not explain the meaning. And they certainly weren't enough for the man who gave a name to this phenomenon, the legendary Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung. Jung was a scientist, but he refused to dismiss those experiences that didn't fit into the box of cause and effect. He believed that certain things are not connected by a chain of events, but by a shared meaning. He called this the causal connecting principle, and it changed everything. His most famous case, the story that opened everything, was about an extremely intelligent but hopelessly logical patient. Jung was puzzled. He knew he needed something completely irrational to break through her defenses. One day, the woman told him about a particularly powerful dream. In the dream, she received a piece of jewelry of inestimable value, a golden scarab. As she was telling the dream, Jung heard a soft tapping on his window. He turned, opened it, and a beetle flew into the room. He caught it in his hand. It was a beetle of the scarab type, a common rose chafer whose golden-green iridescence was the closest natural equivalent of a golden scarab. Jung walked over to his patient, opened his hand, and said, "Here is your scarab." The woman fell silent in astonishment. The moment, the perfect reflection of her inner world and outer reality, accomplished what months of therapy could not. It created a breakthrough. For Jung, this was proof. The universe had conspired, had bent reality to achieve a transformation. Jung stated that these moments were proof that there is a deep, invisible connection between the human psyche and the material world. This was a radical idea in his time, but it found astonishing resonance in the strangest and most mind-bending corner of science: quantum physics. To explore this, Jung formed an unusual alliance with one of the founders of quantum mechanics, the Nobel Prize-winning physicist Wolfgang Pauli. They studied the bizarre rules of the quantum world and saw in them a blueprint for the strange nature of synchronicity. And here we leave official science and step into the truth of the mystery. At the heart of it all lies a phenomenon that Albert Einstein himself called spooky action at a distance, quantum entanglement. Entanglement is when two particles become so fundamentally connected that they behave as a single system, regardless of how far apart they are. If you measure one, you instantly know the state of the other, even if it's at the other end of the galaxy. This is a cosmic connection that transcends space and time. This is not just a theory, it is a proven, fundamental law of our universe. If you love diving into strange and unexplainable things, please hit like and subscribe so I can see how well I'm doing. I'd be very grateful for it. But the story doesn't end here. The question Jung and Pauli dare to ask, and which we should still be asking today, is the following. If the building blocks of our reality are connected in a way that defies classical cause and effect thinking, then why shouldn't our consciousness be as well? Why should our mind, the most complex thing in the known universe, be the only exception? From this perspective, a synchronicity is not a coincidence. It is the moment when you become consciously aware of the entanglement. That phone call from your friend is not a coincidence. It is a ripple from a connection that exists beyond normal space-time. It suggests that the line we draw between the inner world of our thoughts and the outer world of matter is not only blurry, but a mere illusion. So, if these meaningful connections are woven into the fabric of reality, how can we experience them more often? This is a part of your brain called the Reticular Activating System, or RAS. According to skeptics, the RAS is a simple doorman in your mind that filters out unimportant data. But this is not the full story. The RAS is the antenna. It is the receiver of your consciousness, and its settings are determined by your focus. If you formulate clear intentions, if you focus on a question or a goal, you're tuning this antenna. That's why people who seek meaning, who pay conscious attention, or who are undergoing major life changes report synchronicities in large numbers. Their RAS is working at maximum alertness. So how does this whole thing work? A trick of the brain or a gateway to a hidden reality? The skeptical point of view is clear. It says we live in a random world and merely project our own meanings onto it. But the experiences of our lives, those inexplicable connections described by Jung, point to a much deeper truth. The strange and proven laws of quantum physics suggest that the universe is far more interconnected than we see. They suggest that reality is a web and our consciousness is woven into it. Perhaps a synchronicity is that incredible moment when the pattern-recognizing machine in our head actually identifies a real, deeply embedded pattern in the fabric of the cosmos. The question is no longer whether it exists, but how much are you willing to find of it? So, what do you think? Have you encountered something similar? I would love to hear your stories. Share the most impossible, undeniable, and meaningful synchronicity you've ever experienced in the comments. Tell me about that glitch in the matrix that proved to you everything is connected. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button. This is just the beginning. For a deeper dive into the link between consciousness and quantum theory, watch this next. Can quantum physics make telepathy real?